play fast and loose today. They need to get Trent Richardson some long runs, something that has been missing in the Browns' rushing attack this season.
It's the Browns and the Broncos here in Denver, and today's game is being broadcast in Spanish where available using the SAP button on your television. Weather here in Denver, beautiful day, 48 degrees, sunny skies, the wind usually an issue, and which direction it goes in tends to be a mystery here in Denver as well. Cleveland won the toss, they have deferred, so Denver will receive to open things up. Phil Dawson on the approach, we're underway, a mile high. The Broncos and the Browns, and as is usually the case, a touchback. So Denver will have it at the 20-yard line to open things up. And Peyton Manning, not only comeback player of the award candidate, but MVP candidate, maybe for the 5th time in his career, Dan.
Yeah, and he told us yesterday he's impressed with both Demaryius Thomas and Eric Decker and their desire to be great receivers. He says Decker is sneaky fast, very physical, whereas Thomas has a speed and size that is just not normal in a wide receiver.
Dan, New England has won, so they keep the pressure on Denver, trying to, at the very least, maintain a first week bye in the playoffs. Handoff, it's Moreno. No Sean Moreno. What a revelation he's turned out to be this season. Take a look at the starting lineup for Denver up front. Manny Ramirez continues to start for the injured Chris Cooper. Inactive here today. Backs and receivers. Dan mentioned Moreno and the back-to-back 100-yard games. First time in his career, now in his 4th season in the NFL out of Georgia. 2nd and 2, no huddle. Manning working quickly here over the middle to Brandon Stokely, the veteran. 5-yard pickup and a first down. Defensively for Cleveland, they can rush the quarterback. They don't have to blitz because that front 4 is effective. Linebackers dealing with injuries. Tank Carter will get an opportunity on the outside, and in the secondary, a lot of injuries. They've had to mix and match, and Eric Hagg is in the starting lineup. Usama Young shifts over to strong safety. Manning off play action. In stride. Right over the middle. Thomas cuts it upfield and slices into the Cleveland defense for a 23-yard pickup on a catch and run to the 45. Playoff picture, here's the updated numbers now. New England is 11-4. Houston is 12-3. And Denver sandwiched in between with this matchup today against Cleveland. It's Moreno. Moreno keeps the legs churning. Just short of the 40-yard line, hit by Jabal Sheard and Craig Robertson. 3.5, 4-yard gain, depending on the spot for Moreno.
Broncos really think they have a great advantage, and they do here in the thin air at Mile High. Running this hurry-up offense, trying to wear out the Browns in this very first series.
Peyton Manning's former team, Indianapolis, has won. They've clinched a playoff spot. Manning off the play action, a floater to the outside. It gets to Thomas for a first down.
Well, if the Browns can't get any more of a pass rush than they've gotten so far, which has been absolutely none, good job of Thomas getting both feet down. Manning is going to have a field day. He had 4 or 5 seconds to find Thomas on the sidelines with that pass.
Peyton Manning, NFL record, 12 4,000-yard passing seasons. Went over the 4,000-yard mark last week in the 34-17 win in Baltimore. Empty backfield out of the gun. Manning, protection holds up and glances off the hands of the rookie Ronnie Hillman out of San Diego State. They're picking and choosing their spots where to use Hillman. John Fox says he's a terrific runner, but pass protection has been an issue.
And you notice he was wide lined up as a wide receiver on that play, so he was totally a receiver and just totally dropped that strike from Manning.
So now a 3-receiver set on a 2nd and 10. 7th play of the drive. Hillman gets an opportunity, takes the running lane, and turns it into a solid gain. 6 yards across the 25 for Denver.
But you can see with the up-tempo here, the Broncos will substitute. Manning says they use more different substitution packages than he's used to with the Indianapolis Colts. Guys like Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison never came out of the lineup. They have a lot of weapons here. He has a lot of weapons with the Broncos.
2nd in the NFL in scoring behind New England. 5th in total offense, just a shade under 388 yards per game. Manning, deep ball. Thomas, he's got it. Touchdown, Denver. In tight coverage. It's a 22-yard hookup, and the Broncos strike quickly.
Yeah, we talked about how fast he is and his size, but this is pure strength. With Sheldon Brown all over his back, He reaches out, secures the catch, and gets down before they go out of bounds. Spectacular catch by Demaryius Thomas.
He will turn 25 on Christmas Day. Demaryius Thomas. Matt Prater on for the extra point. He and Manning, tremendous chemistry. Eric Decker as well. Stokely as a third receiver. Denver's got it going on all cylinders right now, looking for their 10th straight win.
Just a fly route for Demaryius Thomas. Sheldon Brown with great coverage. 80 yards in 8 plays, and the Broncos on top.
He is fast. He is physical. Demaryius Thomas having an outstanding season. His 9th touchdown reception of the year. That one covers 22 yards from Manning, who now has 32 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Denver in front 7-0 over Cleveland. Matt Prater will kick it off. The question, will Joshua Cribbs get any opportunities? This one is a chance for him from the 1. Cribbs spilled out across the 25. Matthew Willis on special teams. The rookie, Brandon Weeden, 29 years old. We had a chance to talk with him yesterday, and he's trying to let things loose in these final 2 games, Dan.
He's very familiar with Von Miller. They faced each other in college. He says he's always aware of where Miller is lined up. Today he knows it's critical that he not drop too deep in the pocket, because that will allow the edge rushers, Dumervil and Miller, to put pressure on him.
Weeden actually worked at Peyton Manning's quarterback camp each of the last 2 years. Weeden swings it out, makes the connection with Obaniah. 2-yard gain. Obaniah in there on the first play from scrimmage. Let's take a look at the starters for Cleveland. Big challenge today for the rookie out of Cal, Mitchell Schwartz, dealing with Von Miller, one of the top defensive players in the NFL. Backs and receivers, a lot of youth. Richardson comes in with a chance to crack 1,000 yards in his first season out of Alabama. He's got 897 heading into this game. Double tight end set, Watson and Smith. You'll see Smith at fullback as well. Weeden to sling it into a tight window. He makes the connection with Greg Little. And very close to a first down. Defensively for Denver, Elvis Dumervil still going about his business. He's got 9 sacks. One more brings him to double figures. Linebackers, Von Miller, candidate for NFL Defensive Player of the Year, along with J.J. Watt and Aldon Smith. And in the secondary, Mike Adams, former Cleveland Brown. Adams spent 5 years in that Cleveland secondary. 9-yard gain. It is enough for a first down. Movement on the right side of the Cleveland line, left side of the Denver defensive line. Alberto Riveron.
False start, number 66 offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And it's Sean Laval for Cleveland.
It had been a good start for the Browns with the first down there in the second play of the game. But now you put yourself back into a situation where the Broncos would love to turn loose Miller and Dumervil on the young quarterback.
Pat Shurmur in his second year as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. It's now 5 straight losing seasons for Cleveland. Up the middle for Richardson. Trent Richardson's been dealing with a rib injury. 8-yard gain. Richardson has a lot of pride and told us it's trying to remain humble. He comes from a winning program. He's just not used to this. He's not used to a sub-500 record.
Got a good block that time by the rookie Mitchell Schwartz on the draw play as he pulled up inside, and Richardson got those 8 yards.
Browns 5-4 in their last 9 games after starting the season 0-5. Richardson will get another carry and an opening for Richardson, who spins his way out near midfield and should be enough for another first down. Blocks from Alex Mack and Alex Smith.
Brown still looking for a long run out of Richardson. His longest so far, just 32 yards. In fact, the Browns' longest run on the ground belongs to wide receiver Travis Benjamin, 35 yards. But Richardson said that the key to it sometimes is the blocking of his wide receivers. He feels they've improved, and he's looking forward to busting a big one today against Denver.
Rib cartilage injury since week 6. Has not had a 100-yard game since November 4th against Baltimore. Take the handoff. Weeden, plenty of time. Fires, complete across the 40. It's Watson with the catch. Mike Adams, the safety. So Watson having a little chat with his former teammate. That covers 13 yards.
40 catches now on the season for Benjamin Watson, and that ball thrown smartly behind Watson, actually, so that Adams could not break the ball up. Good adjustment by Watson.
See what Manning did on Denver's opening drive. Whedon may have been an option for Denver if they didn't pull off the Peyton Manning deal. They were considering drafting Whedon out of Oklahoma State. Richardson trying to drive out across the 35. It's a 3-yard pickup. Dumerville and Brooking combined to bring him down. Cincinnati has one, so all the playoff spots are accounted for now in the AFC. The only questions remaining will be the seeds and home field advantage. Pittsburgh and Miami officially out. Cincinnati, Indianapolis are in. What an amazing story. The Colts, Peyton Manning's former team with Andrew Luck and their youth movement going to the postseason. 2nd and 7, bootleg. Whedon's got room to run, but he's going to throw it. It's Watson again, and another Cleveland first down to the 20-yard line. 15 yards on the pass play, and it's Moore making the stop, the safety for Denver.
Yeah, the Broncos are playing a lot of zone coverage so far in this game. Watch Whedon come out on this bootleg, and he had about 6 or 7 yards that he could have made and then gone out of bounds, but he sees Watson on the cross. Whedon with a hot hand, 4 for 4 for 39 yards on this opening drive.
Whedon comes in tied for second most interceptions in the NFL with 17. Andrew Luck the most, 8th play of the drive. Richardson spins off contact, and then they converge on the rookie Richardson. It's a 2-yard gain. Vickerson among those there defensively for Denver.
Yeah, the Browns rather are in the red zone, and talking to Trent Richardson yesterday, he says, yeah, red zone, that's my zone. He's got 11 rushing touchdowns on the season, 1 receiving touchdown. And he's virtually unstoppable inside that 5-yard line.
Richardson breaking Jim Brown's franchise rookie record for touchdowns. Shermer said that Richardson's just got a nose for the end zone. He's been excellent in that department this season. 2nd and 8. Whedon straight back. Gets rid of it on the outright. And it's Brad Smelly, rookie out of Alabama. Practice squad, 7th round pick, getting an opportunity because of a concussion suffered by Jordan Cameron. Hit by Chris Harris.
And that's his first NFL catch, so save that one for Brad Smelly as he sets up a 3rd down and 5 for the Browns. Impressive opening drive, answering Peyton Manning's beautiful touchdown pass to Demaryius Thomas.
A couple of national championships at Alabama along with Trent Richardson. 3rd and 5 now on a 3-receiver set. Benjamin the 3rd receiver for Cleveland. Whedon out of the pocket, throwing on the move, underneath. Gordon dishing out a little contact and a first down for the Browns. 7-yard pickup. That's why they're high on these young players. Josh Gordon's got a lot of ability. 46 catches now in his rookie season.
Well, he's on a short crossing route. Has to get through some traffic there, make the catch, and then just get blasted there by Tracy Porter, who's playing in his first game in a long time. Welcome back, Tracy Porter.
Yeah. Who was the blaster and who was the blastee?
You got that right.
Porter heads to the sideline. Porter had not played since October 7th, was complaining of dizziness. He might be complaining again.
Yeah.
1st and goal. Whedon. That ball was tipped. Wesley Woodyard. And the first incomplete pass for the rookie Brandon Whedon so far today.
I think Justin Bannon got his left hand on this ball as Tracy Porter goes to the sidelines. Boy, what a way to come back. First series of plays after being out so long. Here's Bannon right here.
12th play of the drive. 2nd and goal now for Cleveland. Double tight end set. This play never happens. Flags down. It was going to be a handoff to Richardson.
False start. Number 55 offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's the center, Alex Mack, called on the false start. So back it up for the Browns. Rookies lead the Browns in passing, rushing, and receiving as the medical staff has a conversation with Porter on the Denver sideline. Cleveland at 5 and 9. They averaged 13.6 points per game in 2011. They've improved upon that. 20 points per game this season. Bolden is in, nickelback. Handoff. Richardson cannot break free, and Bolden was in on that stop. A 4-yard pickup for Richardson.
Well, the Browns were able to overcome their first offside penalty in this drive. It'll be interesting to see if the Mack penalty on That second down play is going to hurt them. Tough down here against Denver. They're very stingy. Second best rush defense in the NFL this season.
Update from the NFC. Dallas, 2 late touchdowns. They have tied New Orleans 31 apiece. They take things right down to the wire in Big D. 3rd and goal now for the Browns. 4 receivers set. Looking for the equalizer. Whedon underneath. Josh Cooper is hit, and it's ruled incomplete. He took a smack from Mike Adams. Field goal unit will come on for the Browns.
Yeah, they weren't going to get anywhere close to the goal line with that play, even if Josh Cooper had made this catch. In fact, it looked like the ball came out. Good coverage by Mike Adams, forced that incompletion.
Phil Dawson, what a season he's put together. 26 of 27. It's been Mr. Consistency for the Browns, the longest tenured Brown, last remaining member of the expansion team that came back into the league. 27-yard attempt to put Cleveland on the board. Dawson knocks it through. It's 7-3 Denver. 4:35 to play in this first quarter. So a long drive for the Browns. They have to settle for 3. We'll come back to Denver in a moment. Special guest making an appearance here at Sports Authority Field at Mile High. Do you feel intimidated by that beard?
Yeah. Just by his whole presence.
Yeah.
I just am awe. Year after year, he does the same thing, and it's just wonderful.
I sense that when we came into the stadium. You shied away a little bit. Phil Dawson kicking it off after the field goal. The dangerous Trindon Holiday back there, but he won't get an opportunity. And Denver's going to have it at the 20-yard line. Festive atmosphere outside the stadium before the game as well.
Silver bells, silver bells, it's Christmas time in the city.
Let's get you caught up on the NFC playoff picture. Green Bay puts the pressure on with San Francisco taking on Seattle. The Packers blow out Tennessee. Atlanta's already clinched the #1 seed. Washington at 9-6. They hold off Philadelphia. Minnesota with a big win. Dallas and New Orleans currently in overtime. And the Cowboys trying to stay in the hunt. 7-3 Denver in front. 4:35 to play in the first quarter. Manning on a give for Moreno. No, Sean Moreno almost took it to the second level. Jackson saves a big run, 8 yards, and he got him by the shoelaces.
Yeah, he talked to us yesterday about patience, and he showed it that time. When he was a rookie, he just ran as fast as he could when he got the handoff, but he's learned his linemen get their blocks underway.
Working quickly here, Manning off the play fake. Manning throws, and stabbed there by Thomas. Demaryius Thomas matched up with the veteran Sheldon Brown, and you can't even say that Brown has had poor coverage.
Now the difference is watch the long arms of Thomas as he reaches out for the ball. He just 2 or 3 inches farther than Brown can reach. That's another catch, another first down.
Brown had excellent coverage in the end zone on the touchdown as well. Thomas is just a physical specimen. 4 catches, 63 yards, and the touchdown from the gun. Manning, quick hitter. He gets Eric Decker involved. Decker is inching closer to 1,000 yards on the season.
Well, all his talents have been on display so far. First catch shows his speed for 23 yards. There's a little finesse for 12. And then that touchdown catch you talked about, Ian. 22 yards for Demaryius Thomas. What a start he's had this afternoon.
Chance for Thomas and Decker to become the first 1,000-yard duo since Rod Smith and Ashley Lalee in 2004. Moreno hit by Young. And it's a 4-yard gain for Noshawn Moreno. This was one of the great highlights of the season, and it was last week against Baltimore against the future Hall of Famer.
We talk about a leap of faith. This is a leap of faith.
We just assumed he ran hurdles in high school. He said, no, triple jump and long jump in high school.
He should have done the hurdles, too.
On first down, pass to Joel Dreesen. Dreesen's been a good pickup from Houston. Usama Young with another hit, 4-yard gain for the tight end.
And the combination of thin air in this passing game of the Broncos is wearing out this front four. Nowhere near Manning, as Manning's off to another great start, 7 out of 8.
Manning has multiple touchdown passes in 10 straight home games. The record is 15 in a row held by Drew Brees. Manning throws. On time to Thomas. And Demaryius Thomas picks up 4 yards. Head coach of the Broncos is John Fox. Great attitude. And it's just been a really good fit with this team. Last year did go to the playoffs with Tim Tebow. They get Peyton Manning this year, and now they're just at a different level. Fox has said to be around Manning every day has been incredible. His time management, he has it down to a science. He called him remarkable in the way he handles himself and how the rest of the team follows him.
Jabal Shear jumped in the neutral zone.
Number 97 defense.
That'll get the flag.
5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
And it is Sheard on the penalty. For complete pro football coverage, including everything you need to know from this weekend's matchups, all the way through Super Bowl 47, visit CBSSports.com/NFL.
Omaha!
Moreno in the backfield. And here is Noshawn Moreno. 4-yard pickup. And Fox also talked about the fact that Moreno being the scout team running back for 7 consecutive weeks and then getting his opportunity was a clear indication to the rest of the team that, hey, you never know when your number's going to be called and you better be ready.
Well, and Moreno's had a few demons, a few battles he's had to go through, but he realizes his opportunity now and their chance to go deep into the playoffs.
2nd and 6, Manning over the middle. It's Stokely with the catch. Denver on the move again, just short of the 30-yard line. That's a 5-yard pickup for Stokely. Had a relationship with Manning back in their Indy days, and Manning said that Stokely's been such a big pickup for the younger receivers to get a sense of his work habits and how he goes about his business.
9 of 10 now for Manning. Remember, the one incompletion was dropped by Hillman.
On a 3rd and 1 now. And that's going to be enough. Noshawn Moreno picks up 2 yards. Hit by Jaquay Parker. We're down to 25 seconds to play here in this opening quarter.
And you know, Manning wants to get one more playoff before the end of the quarter. He is pedal to the metal.
So new set of downs for the Denver Broncos inside the Cleveland 30. Hillman. Ronnie Hillman with a flag thrown as he busts his way inside the 20. 12-yard gain, penalty marker.
Holding number 68 offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
And that is Zane Beadles, who has been much improved in his 3rd year out of Utah.
Watch it right here. Here's the hold on Phil Taylor as Dreesen comes by and leads Hillman up into the hole, but the hole was created as Phil Taylor pointing to the official. You got to throw that flag.
And that'll do it for this first quarter with Denver in front, 7-3 over Cleveland. Second quarter action is coming up. We'll return to Denver after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 40. Happy holidays, everybody. Denver puts up 126 yards of offense in that first quarter. They lead Cleveland 7-3. Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, the rest of our CBS crew. Noshawn Moreno, the first play of the second quarter. Moreno gets thrown down at the 30-yard line, chased down by Phil Taylor. It's an 8-yard gain as Moreno and Taylor exchange pleasantries.
At 335 pounds, Phil Taylor showing really good speed to get out there and bring down Moreno.
First-round pick in 2011 out of Baylor. He was on the PUP list because of a pectoral injury. Taylor trying to make up for lost time. On second down, Manning over the middle to Moreno. And a modest gain to the 25-yard line. Buster screen. With the stop, it's a 6-yard pickup.
You're talking about time. I mean, how much time does Manning have to throw? You see the Browns, no pass rush at all. Played zone that time, which was a good idea. That kept away any long bomb. Manning had to come down to his check down receiver for a short gain.
12th play of the drive. This is the number 6 passing offense in the NFL.
Hurry!
On a 3rd and 6, fake the handoff twice. Manning throws, finds the open man. It's Eric Decker. And a first down just short of the 10-yard line. 14 yards on the Manning to Decker hookup.
Well, this is the one time the Browns do get pressure on Manning. Rubin collapses the pocket, but he's just a little bit late to stop that completion.
This drive now over 6 minutes of elapsed time. Jacob Hester, the former Charger, getting an opportunity. He was out of a job, and John Fox kept his eye on him. And when there was a need, Hester was signed.
Yeah, he liked him coming out of college at LSU, where he was a tailback. Chargers beefed him up a little bit, made him play a little bit fullback. Had 7 carries last week against Baltimore in that win.
John Fox said he's really smart, he's really tough, has a bigger body, and they could use him in that tailback role. He's been an excellent player. Manning throws. Incomplete, trying to hit Thomas for his second touchdown of the day. Joe Hayden with the coverage. We asked Joe Hayden about going against Demaryius Thomas, the big body. He says, no, I prefer it.
Well, it's because Hayden feels he has an advantage with his quickness and his speed, and he can get into the body of the bigger receivers. They normally don't have the quickness that he has to get away from him.
And a rare incompletion for Peyton Manning. Now 11 of 13, 110 yards and a touchdown. Fourth most red zone drives in the NFL this season. Peyton Manning and the Broncos use a timeout with a 7-3 lead, threatening to add to it. That Dallas-New Orleans game has gone final. The Saints win it in overtime, so Dallas falls to 8-7. Washington leading the NFC East at 9-6. Still a chance for Dallas somehow to win the division because they match up with Washington in the final week of the regular season. Obviously, the Giants are going to play a big role as well. 15th play of the drive. The early stages of the second quarter. On 3rd and 9 for Denver. Manning out of the gun will throw it back of the end zone. It's caught for the touchdown. Eric Decker. The accuracy of Peyton Manning. And he's picking on Sheldon Brown.
And Sheldon Brown's doing a great job. He's been all over the receivers. Back of the end zone is Decker. Right foot down, left foot down, touchdown for Denver. Big physical receivers, a luxury that Manning never really had with the Indianapolis Colts. But both Decker and Thomas paying off, out positioning Sheldon Brown for the scores.
Eric Decker telling us it's been great having Peyton with his knowledge, his experience. He's transformed the locker room in terms of confidence. And this is a very confident team right now. 15 plays, 80 yards. It took 6 minutes and 56 seconds. The Broncos add to their lead. It's 14-3. 10th touchdown of the season for Eric Decker. Peyton Manning told us that the one thing that has stood out about Decker and Thomas, they want to be great. They put the work in. And obviously it's paid off a great deal as Prater kicks it off. Joshua Cribbs turns around and watches it soar over his head. Manning's second touchdown strike of the day. First one to Thomas, second one to Decker. It's a 14-3 advantage for the Broncos. Good looking hat for Eric Decker. That's the Elmer Fudd look.
No, it's the Floyd R. Turbo look.
That's it. I stand corrected. On a handoff for Richardson, the zigzag by the rookie. Richardson gets pushed forward for a gain of 5. Chris Harris in on the tackle. Coming up tomorrow on CBS. It may be cold outside, but there's one place that's always oh so hot. Hawaii 5-0 tomorrow only. CBS. Eric Decker and the Broncos, 14-3 lead. 23 offensive plays for Denver. This is just the second time that Cleveland has had the football in the first half. On a dump off, Alex Smith driven backwards, and it's Justin Bannon, the veteran.
This is one thing that Whedon's got to look at is you can't throw a short pass to a receiver that's covered. And on a screen pass, Smith never got out behind his blockers there. And Whedon's got to go somewhere else with that ball because that was a disaster waiting to happen.
Injury update, Tracy Porter, the cornerback for Denver, a concussion. He will not return here today. Just coming back into the lineup, too. Bolden and Leonard, extra defensive backs now for Denver. 3rd and 7, Whedon from the gun. Pump and throw. Whedon in stride for Benjamin Watson. He's got a first down, a stiff arm to Raheem Moore, and a 19-yard gain through the air.
There was confusion in the Broncos secondary. Nobody guarded Greg Little on the outside, but Watson is going to come clear over the middle, and there's just nobody there for him. The coverage is dropped, and Watson has another catch. That's an important completion for the Browns to give him a little bit of momentum here, a little bit of confidence.
Whedon is now 8 of 10. We asked him about the biggest adjustment, and Joshua Cribbs is running the Wildcat. Cribbs, the former collegiate quarterback at Kent State, heads to the sideline for a 3-yard gain. You know, Whedon did talk about the time management issue. It was interesting because everybody was praising Peyton Manning for what he's done over his NFL career, and Whedon's trying to figure it out, the 29-year-old rookie.
Well, he's even had to ask his wife to help him with the game plan as far as going over the different reads he has to do. She's done a good job with him so far.
That's Melanie, who's quizzed him on a nightly basis. She's not part of the quarterback meetings, though. 2nd and 7, Whedon, low throw, scooped up. Raheem Moore gets up and runs with it off the pick. Moore is going to take it the distance.
Yeah, and it's going to come all the way back to, this is an incomplete pass. This ball bounced about a yard in front of the defensive back. Great effort to take it all the way back by Raheem Moore.
Now, this would be looked at either way, as a turnover and as a touchdown, so there's no red flag that Shurmur has to throw.
That's a great short hop catch by Raheem Moore and a great effort, but all for naught, if you will. I can't believe that the officials didn't see that.
So there are two perspectives. A high throw from Whedon to his offensive player, his teammate. A low throw for the defensive back, and clearly that ball hit the ground. It'll be incomplete once they take a look. Back in Denver, the ball hawk, Raheem Moore, trying to sell this one as a pick six, but clearly the ball hit the ground, and Alberto Riveron has taken a look at it.
The ruling on the field will be reversed. The ball hit the ground, so therefore it's an incomplete pass. It will be 3rd down. Clock operator, please reset the clock to show 10:29. 10:29, please.
So 3rd and 7 now for Pat Shurmur's offense and Brandon Whedon, with the Browns down 14-3.
And Jim Leonard in the game for Raheem Moore as he catches his breath along the sidelines. Tracy Porter out with a concussion, will not be back today, and it could affect the Broncos secondary as this season winds up next week and as they look forward to the playoffs.
Yeah, we asked Pat Shurmur about Whedon, what he's seen in his rookie season. He said, look, he's got the kind of numbers you would see from a rookie QB with high expectations, but there are a few plays each game that are head scratchers because of the inexperience. Drop ball by Little. That's been an issue for him in his 2 years in the NFL, and a flag thrown. Punting unit is coming on.
This would be against Little. It appears.
Pass interference on the offense, number 15. That penalty will be declined. 4th down.
No, Mohamed Massaquoi suffered a knee injury in practice this week. They lost a few players based on practice injuries. Jim Leonard is the deep man, so no Trindon Holiday. Leonard will get the call here with Reggie Hodges, the veteran, punting. Leonard sure-handed, and he'll bring it in cleanly at the 12-yard line. 43-yard punt. Peyton Manning has been tremendous so far. The Broncos leading the Browns here in the 2nd quarter. Altitude, always a concern here in Denver. Was that an issue for you when you came here with the Chargers?
It's an issue for me right now.
I'm with you. I'm a little winded. 14-3, Denver in front. 10:16 to play in this first half. Shotgun for Manning. And another quick hitter. Breaking a tackle is Joel Dreesen as he extends out across the 25. Usama Young couldn't bring him down initially, and he turns it into a 13-yard gain.
Now, Dreesen's a big physical tight end, good pass receiving tight end, and Usama Young just whiffed on that tackle. First down, Denver.
Denver has posted 9 straight wins over the Browns. Sean Moreno runs into a crowd to pick up 2 yards for the Broncos. Great scenery, fresh air here in Denver.
What there is of it. You know where it really affects my team when we came in here is our offensive linemen. They could only run about 4 or 5 plays in a row. They wanted me to throw an interception, which I did most of the time.
You complied. You were always looking out for the big guys.
I was tired too.
Play fake. Manning on a 2nd and 8. That throws into heavy traffic. And a flag thrown in the defensive backfield as Stokely takes a shot from the linebacker Jackson. 3-yard pickup.
A pretty good catch there by Stokely under pressure from Jackson.
Holding number 24 in the defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Yeah, that was against Sheldon Brown on the outside against Eric Decker. But check out this catch by Brandon Stokely. Quote Jackson with a forearm to the back. Catch still made.
Cleveland did release a cornerback this week, Dimitri Patterson, who had signed a 3-year, $16 million deal, and he was eventually picked up by Miami. On a pitch, Hillman the speed. Ronnie Hillman, 3rd-round pick, potential playmaker for this Denver squad. Good block by Ryan Clady on that left side for a 12-yard burst.
Yeah, let's check out Clady here as they really get the corner. Good job by Decker coming down and working on the corner, and Hillman uses his speed to get to the outside. Another first down.
How about the fact the Broncos have not played in a game this season decided by fewer than 6 points? Manning, incomplete. Thomas tried to grab it with the fingertips. Eric Hagg was lurking. Tomorrow it's Christmas Eve, and 2 broke girls are unwrapping their special brand of holiday cheer. Celebrate the holiday with 2 broke girls. That's tomorrow only. CBS. Denver with a 14-3 lead on Cleveland. 8:26 to play in this first half. Sports Authority Field at Mile High, which opened back in September 2001. This week they announced there will be some improvements to the HD video boards scheduled for the offseason here inside the stadium. Manning under pressure. Tosses it away in the direction of Matthew Willis. And the heat coming from Hall Davis, 3rd-year pro from Louisiana Lafayette.
Now both edge rushers are going to put the pressure on Manning here. See Jaquay Parker there. Doing a good job. First time Manning has been pressured that much today.
4 for 4 on 3rd downs today. This is a 3rd and 10 for Manning and the Broncos. Manning sets it up. Incomplete. Thomas had Brown fall down on the play, and Manning had a little too much air under it.
A big hit there by Parker. Jaquay Parker there, 2nd time in a row he's been right in there on Manning.
Parker leading the Browns in sacks this season with 6. And he's had a sack in 3 consecutive games. Britton Colquitt. He'll punt it away to Joshua Cribbs standing at his own 9-yard line. Colquitt, part of the first family of punting in the NFL. Cribbs ranges over. It's returnable from the 9. Cribbs, flag thrown. Cribbs takes the sideline into Denver territory. Cribbs still going. And finally hit along the sideline. But 3 penalty markers as Willis made the special teams hit on Cribbs.
Yeah, as you might expect, an illegal block against the Browns negates a fabulous 62-yard return.
Illegal block in the back by the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down. Timeout.
Riveron did not give a number, but looked like it was L.J. Ford who may have been the guilty party. That one's coming back. Well, if Santa's here in Colorado, there's a pretty good chance he's out on the slopes.
Here's the illegal block right here. It's 53. Greg Robertson blocking on 53, Steven Johnson. That's tragic that it wipes out a 62-yard return.
First down now from the 10-yard line. Hardesty gets the call for Cleveland, and he is hit. Couldn't break free of Justin Bannon. It's a 3-yard gain for Montario Hardesty. Pat Shurmur likes what Hardesty brings to the backfield. Little change of pace compared to Richardson.
And he says he gets quality carries. He's done a lot with the few attempts that he has. Didn't get much that time, but he has a good changeup for Richardson, and he'll remain in the backfield.
Hardesty comes in averaging 4.6 yards per carry. Cleveland in a 14-3 hole. Whedon swings it out to Hardesty. Get him out in space, and Hardesty ducks out of bounds right at the first down marker.
Yeah, I think he got the first down. Good speed to the outside, beats the linebacker there, and picks up the first down. Too much speed that time for Von Miller, and Von Miller may be the fastest Bronco. As if you ask him.
Yeah, he's not shy. Talking about his skills, and rightfully so. He's lived up to the billing, the number 2 pick in the 2011 draft. Whedon sets and throws. Wide open, Greg Little. Little out of bounds. He picks up 21 yards on the pass play from Whedon.
You gotta like the way the Browns are protecting Whedon, and he's been on target for most of the day, 10 of 14 now. Little hangs on to that one, and it's another first down, back-to-back first downs on consecutive plays. The Browns bouncing back after that penalty that wiped out that good return by Cribbs.
Yeah, Whedon has looked sharp. He came in with a passer rating ranked 32nd in the NFL. You can manipulate those numbers. Hardesty able to pop it upfield and pick up 6 yards in the process. Good block by Gordon. Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern, one of the great rivalries in all of sports. John Calipari's Kentucky Wildcats take on Rick Pitino's Louisville Cardinals. It all begins when CBS Sports presents 75 years of March Madness behind the mic, followed by a coach's perspective. That's all Saturday right here on CBS. Second and 4 now, under 6 minutes to play in this first half from Denver. Whedon, short drop, protection holds up again. A dart to Little, and Little is hit. Forward progress will give him a gain of 1 as Chris Harris was all over him. And what a story this kid has been. Chris Harris, undrafted out of Kansas, a 4-year starter in college. And he has become a major playmaker as a starting corner for Denver.
Yeah, he's returned 2 picks for touchdowns, and that huge one last week against Baltimore. It looked like Baltimore was going to get back in the game, and he just picks the ball off near the goal line and went the distance.
Third and 3 now for the Browns. Just short of midfield. Whedon looks up. Incomplete. Trying to hit Watson, the tight end. And the Browns forced to punt.
Well, Benjamin Watson knows he should have made this catch. I think Whedon's thinking the same thing here. Look at number 82. He eyes Whedon as he moves out of the pocket. Ball thrown just too far out in front. That's twice now that Whedon has put that ball just out of the grasp of his tight end Watson.
Once again, it's Jim Leonard inside the 10. Reggie Hodges will punt it. Leonard backpedals and mishandles it. Leonard jumping on top of it, and Denver will retain it. Pushing and shoving after the whistle. And Leonard able to recover.
Yeah, Leonard dropped it, but he hustled after it, and he did recover. Official right on the spot. The field judge signaling immediately that it's Denver ball.
So the muff punt, but Leonard able to jump on top of it. Thought your fantasy season was over? Well, it's not. NFL Playoff Challenge is back and better than ever. You can win a trip to Super Bowl 48 in 2014. Play today at NFL.com/fantasy. Under 5 minutes to go now in this second quarter. Denver with a 14-3 lead And they take over 1st and 10 at the Broncos 6. No Sean Moreno in the backfield. Moreno unable to penetrate there as Rubin held his ground and held to a gain of maybe a half a yard.
It's a really important defensive series for the Browns. They have the Broncos where they want them, deep in their own end of the field. A good start on 1st down, led by Rubin, stopping Moreno.
So we'll call it 2nd and 10. 193 yards of offense so far for Denver. Manning, sideline route, catch made by Dreesen, and falls forward across the 10 for a 5-yard pickup. Frosty Rucker over there defensively for Cleveland.
That's a change-up. Rucker, defensive end, dropping in coverage that time. Dick Duran changing things up on Peyton Manning. Tough to confuse a guy that's seen everything, but that was a good defensive call that time by Duran.
Broncos trying to reverse their fortunes in the month of December. 2-3 last year. In 2010, 1-4, same record in 2009, and 1-3 in 2008 in the final month of the regular season. Manning makes the connection downfield. Demarius Thomas with a flag thrown, 2 of them.
I think they're going to get Brandon Stokely for an illegal pick on Sheldon Brown. Both players still on the ground. That's what freed up the receiver, Thomas. Yeah, Stokely came across.
Offense, number 14. Goal, 3rd down.
Stokely saying he was pushed, but here he is here. Here's Thomas, and he's being guarded by Sheldon Brown. Crossing route. It really looked like Stokely was aiming for Sheldon Brown as he just leveled and draws the flag.
Sheldon Brown is the player that's down for Cleveland as other players make a semicircle around him. Brown is now sitting upright.
Well, watch Stokely come, set his feet, and throw the shoulder right into the... You talk about defensive player. That is exactly what Sheldon Brown was on that play. Totally defenseless, trying to stay with Demarius Thomas. Good to see Brown up.
And the veteran Brown is up on his feet. John Fox trying to make his case that his player Stokely was pushed.
This is what he's talking about. That is Buster Screen, and he's saying that Stokely was pushed into him, but you can tell that that was intent by Stokely, as he was eyeballing Sheldon Brown all the way. Shoved a little bit, but not that much.
Trevin Wade will step in for Sheldon Brown, rookie out of Arizona, 7th-round draft pick, and a 3rd down for Denver.
Hurry!
From the gun, Manning over the middle to Moreno, and no Sean Moreno working his way for a 1st down.
This is really a well-conceived play because it was a receiver type of screen pass. Had 3 receivers in front of Moreno when he makes this catch. Very unusual play, very successful, converting that 3rd down. Another 3rd down conversion for Denver.
Peyton Manning is now 15 of 20, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. This drive will continue with under 3 minutes to play in the 1st half. Tried to toss it out to Willis, incomplete.
What you talking about, Willis?
I'm talking about an incompletion.
That was the worst throw Manning's made all day.
What are you looking at?
Even Mr. D was a little bit perplexed. Denver's last loss, October the 7th at New England. They were 2-3 after 5 games, and people around the league questioning how it was coming along between Manning and the offense, playing the San Diego Chargers, down in that game, and that turned the season around. Out for Moreno. No, Sean Moreno has got another 1st down for Denver.
And that's really an example of what makes Peyton Manning so great. His ability to recognize the defense, know where his outlet is, and find a running back on a linebacker here. No contest.
Peyton Manning over 59,000 yards passing for his career. Just the third man to hit that number along with Favre and Marino. Ronnie Hillman with the run for Denver. 7-yard gain, and there are the numbers for Peyton Manning. We hit the 2-minute warning here. A mile high, 14-3. Broncos in front. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report, JB and company for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report.
I think that first guy had too much sugar.
Yeah, I think so. Will Ferrell likes sugar.
His favorite food.
5 receivers set on a 2nd and 3. Sheldon Brown, a head injury. He will not return for Cleveland.
Number 74 offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Orlando Franklin called on the penalty. So back it up on the false start. 2 minutes to play in this second quarter. 2nd and 8 now for Denver. A 14-3 lead for the Broncos. Trying to win their 10th game in a row.
Hey, 22 is Mike! 22 is Mike!
Peyton Manning, close friends with new Browns owner Jimmy Haslam, their University of Tennessee connection. Manning, incomplete. Stokely looking for a flag, and 2 are thrown. Trevin Wade with the coverage for Cleveland.
Yeah, he was all over the back of Stokely as he cut to the inside.
Pass interference, number 26 defense. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
It's probably a good idea that Wade made this penalty because Stokely was going to make this catch and have a lot of running room. You can see him just grab there. Easy call.
So a new set of downs for Denver. 1:56 left to play in the first half. Line of scrimmage is now the 40. Shotgun for Manning. Thrown off his back foot. Wide open. Jacob Tamme, the former Colt. Very comfortable with Peyton Manning. Back in their Indy days, that's a 35-yard pass play, the longest of the season for the tight end Tamme.
And his longest of his career. What a beautiful catch as Manning just lays it out there, and Tamme goes and gets it and then dishes out a little punishment.
They are inside the 25. Manning now, 200 yards passing. Manning, too high for Stokely in a matchup with Wade.
We'll go back to this nice soft lob by Manning, and then Tamme, he wants more as he takes care of Eric Hagg on the sidelines. Remember, this drive started way back at the 5-yard line.
Cleveland really banged up in the secondary. TJ Ward on IR. Sean Gibson, the rookie out of Wyoming, was supposed to start. Gibson suffered a foot injury Thursday at practice. Now the Sheldon Brown injury, head injury, earlier on this drive. Moreno, that play got blown up by Rubin. He was engulfed by the big man, 6'2", 330 pounds, atop of Rubin.
Well, we'll get him inside the circle here. Watch as he's working against Manny Ramirez there, and he meets Moreno deep in the backfield.
So now a 3rd and 14 for Denver. We're under a minute to play in this first half. Manning making a change.
It's like the 3rd man in the booth.
He is. Manning on time, hits Eric Decker for a first down. Stops the clock with 32 seconds to play. Needed 14. Manning and the Broncos pick up 15.
Well, he's got time to survey the entire field, and the receivers know to never quit on their routes when Manning has the ball in his hand, because he'll find you and he'll put it where you can catch it.
And a helpless feeling for Brandon Weeden. There's nothing you can do. Just sit back and wait your turn.
And admire.
Out of the gun. Manning underneath to Moreno, shoved out of bounds by Robertson. 5-yard pickup through the air. Down to 27 seconds remaining in this second quarter. Peyton Manning overall now 221 yards, 19 of 26, 2 touchdowns.
6 different receivers.
2nd and 4, running play. It's Moreno. Was looking for daylight and hit at the 5-yard line by Buster Screen. Timeout called by Denver with 21 seconds to play. They have 1 timeout left. And don't forget, coming up, Verizon Halftime Report, JB, and the rest of the gang. Latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report.
Now, you talked about Manning's stats and how well he's doing on this drive. He's hit 6 different receivers so far today. His favorites, of course, being his 2 wideouts, Marius Thomas and Eric Decker. But the pass is a big pass play, that 35-yarder on this drive to Jacob Tamme is a real thing of beauty.
Yeah, Peyton Manning talked at great length with us about the physical and mental challenge he's been through, really a 2-year process. And he said in many ways he's really started over. Just his throwing motion, getting back into the old habits, and a timeout call with a play clock winding down.
I don't think they got it. It's going to be delay a game.
Delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Yeah, the other thing I found interesting in talking to Peyton about his rehab is he had to look in a mirror to find out where his throwing motion was.
That's
what
right.
it used to look like, because he felt he couldn't tell where his arm was in throwing the ball. I thought that was fascinating, that he had to go back that far in starting over and learning how to throw a football.
Yeah, I'm not sure everybody realized, because Peyton didn't release a whole lot of information, just what he was going through. Moving pocket. Manning throws. Intercepted in the end zone by Young. Peyton Manning picked off in the waning moments of this first half.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this type of play. It's a little sprint out to the left. Difficult throw for any quarterback. And a good job of cutting inside in front of the receiver, Moreno. Type of a mix-up here between Moreno and Manning. Manning expecting him to come to the outside. Here is Moreno on the outside here. He's going to run a corner route. And you can see the fine job that Osama Young does laying out to make this catch.
They're going to take a look. Did it hit the ground?
It did hit the ground, but he had a firm control of this ball, it appeared. This will be another look at it. Heck of an effort there.
And the difference here is 3 points. Would be a 28-yard field goal attempt for the Denver Broncos. Young with his 3rd interception of the season. Former New Orleans Saint, won a Super Bowl with the Saints. 3rd round pick back in 07. So they will review it. What do you think? You've seen 3 angles.
Well, that angle there, the ball really does hit the ground, and it does move in his hands a bit, but it never appeared that his hands were separated from the ball. Take one more look at this angle. This is probably the best angle we've got there. Ball hits the ground there, but I think this is going to be an interception. It never lost control of the ball. The point of the ball hits the ground.
Yeah, big key also, it was called an interception on the field, so Riveron is going to have to see some kind of evidence that proves to him that it wasn't a pick.
And I think the evidence has got to be looking at the hands once it hits the ground. Does the ball ever move to a point where his hands separate from the ball?
And this is the angle that Riveron is looking at again.
You know, when the ball moved, it actually moved onto his left hand, which appeared to be under the ball, between the ball and the ground. So it's been an interesting review by Alberto Riveron.
Now, normally on a trap, it's pretty obvious. You trap it against your body, the ball might be moving around. In this case, Young had his hands on it, but the bottom of the football, he had the top portion. And that's what's living that seed of doubt.
Yeah, that's a heck of an effort by Young. laying out for this ball. And he put this one on his
Ruling
trophy
on the
case.
field stands as called. First down, Cleveland.
So the pick will stand for Osama Young, number 3 on the season. Young shifting over to TJ Ward's spot, as Ward was placed on IR this week with a bone bruise in his left knee. And Eric Hagg, the second-year pro out of Nebraska, sliding over to free safety, replacing Young. Browns will take a knee, and that will do it for the first half in Denver. Broncos with a 14-3 lead over the Cleveland Browns. Denver looking to keep the winning streak alive. They've won 9 in a row heading into this one. We'll come back. The Verizon Halftime Report is coming up after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. You're listening to a Pepsi Anthem by Travie McCoy. Download this and other NFL-inspired anthems at PepsiAnthems.com. Halftime. Sports Authority Field, a mile high, 14-3. Denver leading Cleveland. Happy holidays, everybody. Welcome back to the broadcast booth. Ian Eagle along with Hall of Famer Dan Fouts. While the Denver Broncos understand what's in front of them, there's an opening now potentially for that number 1 seed, with Houston falling to Minnesota. Texans will take on the Indianapolis Colts next week. And for Denver, that winning mentality, this has been a very consistent group now, looking for their 10th victory in a row.
Well, they came out on fire. They took the opening drive and go right down the field. Manning was almost perfect on it. But the Browns are back in this thing, just down 14-3. And they'll get this ball to start the second half. I've been impressed with the way they've been able to protect their young quarterback, Brandon Weeden. 11 of 16 throwing, no sacks at all. He's had time to throw, and that'll be important here in the second half, as the Brown defense has also done a good job, especially that interception by Osama Young to stop the Broncos for adding at least 3 points to the scoreboard.
And Cleveland is now +8 on the season in turnover differential for a team that's 5-9. That's top 10 in the NFL. Matt Prater will kick it off for Denver. Cribbs, the deep man. And he is not going to get a sniff. Browns will have it at the 20-yard line. Your first chance to see Brandon Weeden, the rookie, in person. Your thoughts?
Well, I think any quarterback can benefit from good pass protection. He's been able to find his tight end Watson a couple of times. But he's throwing with confidence. I mean, he's not hesitating at all. Standing strong in the pocket. I think he's having a good day. And what a thrill for him is to play against a guy like Peyton Manning.
Number 22 pick in the draft out of Oklahoma State. Handoff, Richardson just keeps on moving. Richardson carries across the 30. Good block by Alex Mack up front for a 13-yard pickup.
Well, they answered the opening drive of the Broncos with a field goal. But since then, just 2 other possessions. It was a one-play possession that ended the first half. So the Browns just haven't had the ball enough. Good job by Manning and the Broncos. Their time of possession.
And our cameraman Jay-Z wearing the beard because he loves you. There's Weeden. Weeden on a scramble and goes down just across the 35-yard line, 3 yards. Justin Bannon breaking free. Weeden avoided the sack.
I would be safe to say there are more beards here today than there are birds.
Yeah, I would say you're winning right now if we're going to compare.
Bird and the beards.
And another look at Jay-Z.
Jay-Z looking sharp.
2nd and 7. Now for the Browns. Weeden, short drop on the slant to Little. Greg Little very close to matching his rookie year numbers. 8-yard gain. Chris Harris with the stop, and it's a first down for Cleveland.
Well, Little's a physical receiver at 6'2", 220, but this ball was thrown perfectly right in front of his face mask, so he can reach out in front of Chris Harris and make the catch.
Little last week, 5 catches, 74 yards in the loss to Washington, 38-21. On a give for Richardson. Trent Richardson, 2nd, 3rd effort. And Richardson has just passed Jim Brown for the Cleveland rookie rushing record in a season. Brown did it, of course, in less games.
But this is the type of effort that Brown fans are going to love throughout the years. And here's the record that Ian just talked about. Jim Brown, the great Jim Brown, in just 12 games his rookie year out of Syracuse.
Maybe the greatest lacrosse player of all time. Rookie year was 1957. 2nd and 1 now for Cleveland. Whedon from the gun. Steps up. Whedon looking downfield. And Whedon will get the first down. A slide for 2. And a flag is thrown at the end of the play.
This is a real dicey call here because Whedon slid late, feet first. That means you're not supposed to hit him, but he slid so late the defensive back had no other option.
Champ Bailey.
Yeah, I mean, what's Champ Bailey supposed to do? I mean, he's thinking he's going to have to make a tackle, and all of a sudden,
unnecessary roughness. Number 24 in the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's such a late slide. This is really a bad call. You got to agree with John Fox on this one. I mean, he's not even all the way down when he's hit by Bailey.
And Bailey can't get inside Whedon's head to assume he's going down feet first. He doesn't know if Whedon is going to try to make a move upfield.
Well, and the other thing is that Bailey knows where the down marker is as well as Whedon does, trying to prevent him from getting to that point on the field.
The officials are still huddled up on the far side of the field. Now they finally break the huddle. And Riveron has indicated first down inside the 30.
You got to agree with all the fans booing. That was really a bad call.
Five penalties against Denver, 6 against Cleveland. 1st and 10 from the 29 of the Broncos, just underway in the second half. Richardson can't break free. Holding on is Chris Harris down low to limit Richardson to a 1-yard gain.
We'll go back to this penalty. It may be saying that Champ Bailey is leading with his helmet to the quarterback, but you can't really say that because Whedon is sliding. He's so far down on the ground. I mean, what else is Champ Bailey going to do? Plus, he's a runner on this play. He's not defenseless. Although the slide is so late, draws the flag. Unbelievable.
2nd and 9 now for the Browns. Whedon hooks a pass. Too low. Not enough on it. Josh Gordon, the intended target for Cleveland. It's 3rd and long.
Well, Josh Gordon is wide open on this play as he'll go right by Champ Bailey here. Bailey expecting help from the safety. Safety late coming over. Raheem Moore, and miscommunication. If Whedon throws that ball to the outside, it's an easy touchdown for the Cleveland Browns.
Gordon leading all rookies in receiving yards coming into this week. This is a 3rd and 9 now for the Browns. Working from the gun. Pocket collapsing. Flags are thrown as Whedon goes down. Von Miller and Elvis Dumerville.
Yeah, finally.
Holding number 72 offense. Penalty is declined. The result of the play is 4th down.
That sack may put Cleveland out of field goal range, although Phil Dawson's coming out. Schwartz is going to get all of Von Miller, drag him down, and still Miller's there with Dumerville to bring down the quarterback. I'm not so sure I would have accepted this penalty and brought up a 3rd down and real long because this is well within the range for Phil Dawson.
It's a 53-yard attempt.
He's been awful good from 50 yards this year.
As long as 52. Trying to cut into the Denver lead. From 53 yards away, he has got it, and then some. 14-6, Denver with 11:09 to play in this 3rd quarter. So the Browns put 3 on the board. Second half is underway. 53-yard field goal for Phil Dawson, capping off a 9-play, 45-yard drive for Cleveland. Denver's got a 14-6 lead on the Browns. Now Dawson will kick it off. Trendon Holiday is deep. This one will roll in his direction. Scooped up at the 4. Holiday stops. Tries to circle back. And nothing there for Holiday as Jonathan Batamosi makes sure that Holiday couldn't take it upfield. Peyton Manning and the Broncos offense back on the field when we come back. Thanks to Mile High Farms. Reindeer making an appearance here in Denver, 14-6. Broncos leading the Browns with 10:59 to play in this third quarter. Denver's got it, a 1st and 10 at the 9-yard line. Noshawn Moreno making sure he knows the play. It's a 4-receiver set for Manning. Manning hits Thomas. And a first down across the 15-yard line. I should say short of a first down as he picks up 7 yards. Buster screen there defensively.
Very similar to the first reception of the afternoon for Demaryius Thomas, a slant route that he caught for 23 yards.
Hey, 52, 52. This has been the best second half team in the NFL. They are plus 133, 18.7 points per game in the second half. That would be a post-merger record if they hold up with those numbers. Moreno met by Sheard. 3-yard pickup. And it's going to be enough. First down, Denver.
Now the Broncos have been just outstanding on third down conversions today. Make it 6 out of 8. At one point they were in that first half 4 for 4.
One of only 2 teams ranked in the top 10 in offense and defense in the NFL. Houston the other, entering week 16. Manning faked the handoff. Sets it up for Stokely. And Stokely zigzags his way for a 3-yard pickup.
Well, Manning had the perfect play called against that blitz. Trevin Wade came off the slot. And Manning just threw the ball right past him to Stokely.
27th all-time meeting between these two teams. Denver is 21-5 versus Cleveland. And some monumental victories.
And pretty good in the playoffs, too.
Yep. 2nd and 7 now. Pump. Manning hit as he throws. It's up in the air. Incomplete. Beatles was trying to block up front and then fell backwards into Peyton Manning.
Well, Beatles is number 65 right here. He's getting shoved back by Billy Wynn pretty good. Ball was hit right there and went up in the air, and there was contact down the field, but because Manning's arm was hit, no pass interference.
So now a 3rd and 7 for Denver. 5 receivers set. Dan mentioned it, 6 of 8 on third down conversions for the Broncos. Manning will throw over the middle. A flag is thrown. Catch is made by Decker and loses the football. Play is whistled down as Screen scooped it up. Penalty marker at the 32-yard line on the near side. Six penalties against Cleveland, 5 against Denver here today. Alberto Riveron has been a busy man.
Illegal use of the hands, number 22 on the defense. Penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
So Buster Screen called to the penalty.
This is working against Demaryius Thomas. Boy, that is really an iffy call. Where was the contact on Screen?
First down just across the 30-yard line. This drive remains alive for the Broncos. 8:50 to go in the third. Running play. Moreno, no hole to speak of. And Moreno driven down by Robertson. NFL Today update. JB and former Broncos Shannon Sharp.
Ray Rice is valuable. Yes, JB, 22 H angle. Cannot let the halfback inside. He did. 27 yards later, he's in the end zone. Ravens running away from the Giants. That only at the half. Iron Eagle, Dan Fouts.
Well, guys, defending Super Bowl champions in some trouble. The Ravens looking to clinch the division title. Manning. Thomas with the catch, but nowhere to operate as he's thrown down by Sheard. 5-yard pickup. That is a defensive end against a big wide receiver and sets up 3rd and 4.
That's a couple of times now we've seen the Browns drop off their defensive ends. That time sheared earlier in the game. It was Frosty Rucker, but when you're tackling Demaryius Thomas, maybe you need those defensive ends to bring him down.
On 3rd down now for the Broncos. Hester in the backfield for Denver.
Hurry!
Make the handoff. Manning steps. He throws in stride. Jacob Tamme. A first down into Cleveland territory. He's banged down at the 30-yard line. Manning again on 3rd down delivers.
Well, from right the tight end position, you can see Tamme with too much speed there for Osama Young. He just ran a crossing route. No moves at all, just outrunning the defensive back and getting down the field 33 yards. That's to go with his first half catch of 35 yards for Tamme.
Manning closing in on 300 yards on the day. Running play, Moreno. Ronnie Hillman gets that call for a 4-yard pickup. NFL Today update. Back to JB and Shannon.
Shannon, the Jekyll and Hyde Bears. Trying to keep hope alive. Their slim playoff hope. Jay Cutler, 11 yards. Brandon Marshall, 21-6. Right before the half, Bears on top of the car.
All right, Ian and Dan.
All right, guys, 2nd and 6 now. Rest of our CBS crew here in Denver as well. We wish everybody a happy holiday. Denver with a 14-6 lead over the Browns. 6:20 to go in the 3rd. Broncos driving again. Manning has time through the hands and ricochets over to Stokely. Decker couldn't catch it, but that's how the season has gone for Denver. It turns into a 12-yard gain.
Well, Stokely has done this before. Remember against Cincinnati a couple of years back. Last play of the game, Kyle Orton threw a pass that was tipped up in the air, and Stokely made the catch and went on down the field for the winner, 87 yards. Heads up, great catch, one-handed. They all count.
Stokely, a couple of Super Bowls to his credit. Has played with Baltimore, Indy, 2nd stint with Denver, Seattle, and the Giants. 11th play of the drive. Now the Broncos are inside the 15. Shotgun for Manning. Throws to Moreno. And hit inside the 5. They'll move the chains again. 11-yard pickup. Young and Jackson combined to bring him down.
That's what Manning does so well, is just distribute the ball to so many receivers. He's got Tamme on this one. Stokely, now he flanks out Moreno. Gets him on a crossing route.
Working quickly here. Handoff, Moreno trying to push the pile with a penalty marker thrown. Eric Hagg, first man in there. Manning is over 300 yards passing now, 302 on the day. 2 touchdowns and an INT.
They're going to get Decker for jumping too quickly. So this will back up the Broncos 5 yards.
Illegal formation, number 78 was uncovered. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Now in this type of situation, the wide receiver, Decker in this case, has got to be up on the line of scrimmage. There's no receiver to the outside of him. He knew it too.
So back it up for Denver, still working with a 1st and goal here, and a 14-6 lead over Cleveland. Manning. He throws to Decker. Touchdown, Broncos. A strike.
Maybe Decker just wanted more room for the next play. That's why he was not in the line of scrimmage. He knew that, well, maybe Manning will throw me a touchdown pass on the next one. A little more room for him to operate. Here's Decker working on the outside against Buster Screen. And he breaks the plane before his legs are down. In fact, Screen was holding his legs up. 91 yards on that drive in 12 plays.
And then at the end, he pulls an Earl Anthony and rolls it right down the middle. Prater with the point after. Denver extends the lead, 21-6. Broncos, 4:33 to play. We are in the 3rd. Denver's got the lead. Impressive drives today for the Denver Broncos offense. This one, 12 plays, 91 yards. Decker with his second touchdown of the day. That's 3 touchdown drives of 80-plus yards.
That's why the home field advantage is so important for Denver. They just go on these drives and they wear you out defensively. You're just not used to the high altitude.
Prater will kick it off to Cribbs. And the fans love it. It hits the goalpost. Decker and the Broncos continue to bowl over the competition in the AFC. Back in Denver, 21-6. Broncos leading the Browns. Broncos trying to improve to 12-3 on the season. They will wrap things up next week, home for Kansas City. Whedon in the pocket. Throws it out to the flat, incomplete, trying to hit Richardson. Tight coverage there by Woodyard. Your favorite superstar performers, honor acting legend Dustin Hoffman, king of late night, David Letterman, and one of the greatest rock bands of all time, Led Zeppelin. The Kennedy Center Honors, Wednesday, only CBS.
This is the type of situation where Brandon Whedon's got to have to be real careful. Trailing it by this much and having to throw, this is where the Broncos want you, so they can turn loose Dumerville and Von Miller.
Second and 10, rush is coming. Miller, the first man there for Denver. A loss of 9 on the play, and Von Miller has just put himself in the Broncos record books for sacks in a season.
Somebody's got to tell the Browns that this guy's a pretty good pass rusher, so why don't we try to block him? Well, nobody does on this play. Richardson late coming over. The speed of Von Miller, too much.
Miller got a half a sack earlier along with Dumerville. We'll see how they score this one for Von Miller. If it's a full sack, he'll have the new record. And Brandon Whedon shaken up on the play. Colt McCoy is throwing the football on the Cleveland sideline. They are checking out Brandon Whedon. Looks like the shoulder collarbone area for Whedon after the hit. Miller gets credit for the sack. And the former starter, Colt McCoy, now in there for the Browns. McCoy steps up, and McCoy is thrown down. Derek Wolfe among those there with Wesley Woodyard.
They were checking out the shoulder area. It might be a collarbone injury to Whedon. Go back to the sack by Von Miller. Watch Dumerville come from the other side, and his body weight lands on top of Whedon and down on that right shoulder.
Reggie Hodges punting. Trindon Holiday standing at the 45. He moves forward, catches cleanly at midfield. Holiday looking for some room, and he is buried at the 47 by Joshua Cribbs. 41-yard punt and a 3-yard return for Holiday.
Well, Von Miller totally unblocked. Here comes Dumerville from the other side. He goes around Joe Thomas, but nobody there to block Von Miller. Costly mistake in the blocking scheme. And right down on that right shoulder, Brandon Whedon.
Well, it's part of what Pat Shurmur talked about, that Denver can take chances because they know they have a strong offense, and when they get a big lead, they cut those edge pass rushers loose, and Whedon is taking a trip to the locker room. Moreno running for 4 yards across the 45, hit by DeQuell Jackson. So Brandon Whedon, this is a disappointing ending to his day, as he was hoping to put together a little more success over the final 2 weeks of the regular season and cap off his rookie year on a positive note. And we've talked about all the changes that could be in the offing for Cleveland with new ownership, new CEO, new president named this week, Alex Shiner, former Cowboys senior VP, now the president of the Cleveland Browns. Manning, good hands by Thomas. No gain on the play. Jackson with another tackle for the Browns.
And I've had a broken collarbone, and just his reaction there, and I'm not saying that is what Whedon has, but his reaction when he got up off the ground, he felt something in that area. And obviously they're taking him to the locker room for x-rays to see the extent of that injury.
Now a 3rd and 6 for Denver. They've been tremendous on 3rd downs. Manning. It's caught by Stokely. But he's not going to have enough for a 1st down. That initial spot. Wow, no, they do give it to him. Forward progress is going to get him the necessary yardage.
Is 9 of 11 terrific on 3rd down, partner?
Now, I would probably go with an even better word. You want to pick one?
Fantastic.
There you go.
How about this word? It's Manning.
It's Manning. Yeah. That works. 21-6, Denver in front. We got a minute 15 to play in the 3rd. Manning lets it fly. Hauled in by Thomas. And then brought down from behind by Buster Screen. 21-yard pass play.
Yeah, you can see the relationship working week by week between Manning and Thomas. Back shoulder fade. Screen had good coverage down the field, but Thomas realized he couldn't get by him. He stopped. Manning saw it. Another completion.
And he has avoided Joe Hayden throughout most of the day. No, Sean Moreno with a head of steam. Angles out of bounds. Zane Beatles pulling to the outside. 7-yard pickup. And Peyton Manning is adding to his MVP cause with the numbers he's put up today.
Yeah, and when you consider all the things that went into this season for Peyton Manning, it's just a remarkable story. Every way you look at it, he's transformed this team. They were 8-8 last year, won the division, and now they're the hottest team in the AFC, maybe the entire NFL.
I think the Packers would probably be in that same category. Handoff to Moreno, and somebody lost their shoe in the process, and it was Moreno. Also, credit has to be given to offensive coordinator Mike McCoy. We'll have more on that in the 4th quarter. The job he has done blending some of Peyton Manning's offense in Indy to what he wants to do in Denver. 21-6, Denver in front. The 4th quarter is next. The NFL on CBS. Denver 21, Cleveland 6. We start the 4th quarter. Wrapping up week 16 in the NFL. The Broncos trying to improve to 12-3 on the season and keep hope alive for the #1 seed in the AFC.
Let's go.
First play of the 4th quarter, 3rd and 4 for Denver.
Hurry, hurry.
Moreno in the backfield. Manning to throw it. Timing pattern. Incomplete. Thomas trying to beat Screen on the sideline. And the Broncos field goal unit will come on with Prater.
Well, I think Buster Screen gets away with a little bit too much contact. That's legal there, but that's not. Ball is in the air. That definitely could have been called pass interference as Manning talks it over with Mike McCoy, and what a job he has done. You talked about it a little bit earlier, Ian, adjusting his offense. Last year worked very well with Tim Tebow. And this year, totally changing things when Manning comes in.
And Manning praised him meshing the terminology as Prater knocks through a 27-yard field goal. Mike McCoy, offensive coordinator of the Broncos, 24 points on the board for Denver. Denver Broncos 24, the Cleveland Browns 6. Just underway here in the 4th quarter. 8 plays, 39 yards, a 27-yard field goal for Prater. Denver just doesn't play in a lot of close games. And if you consider a close game 6 points or less, they played in none of them. Prater's now going to kick it off to Cribbs. Cribbs, 4 yards deep in the end zone. He's going to take it out. Cribbs to the 20. Cribbs comes up just short of the 30-yard line. Hit by Raheem Moore on special teams. Nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Break down all the NFL action on NFL Monday QB. That's tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Came from Indy, wearing your Colts uniform. And you get on television because you put CBS on the sign. It's pretty much a guarantee.
A win-win for Colts and the Broncos today.
That's right. Indy is in the playoffs. Andrew Luck sets the rookie record for passing yards in a season. On a give to Hardesty, Colt McCoy is in there, replacing the injured Whedon. It's a shoulder injury for Whedon as Wolf and Miller combined to bring him down. Last Cleveland win against Denver. It's Bernie Kosar, October 8, 1990. The flea flicker. 43-yard touchdown pass to Webster Slaughter. The 30-yard field goal as time expired to give the Browns a 30-29 win. And Kosar is in attendance here today. He was in the press box hanging around at halftime. A throw over the middle, too high for Watson. Incomplete. Raheem Moore in coverage for Denver. Let's give some credit as well to Jack Del Rio, defensive coordinator for the Broncos. Their 7th defensive coordinator in 7 years. The former head coach of the Jaguars. He's brought a certain attitude to this defensive unit.
Yeah, I talked to Von Miller. He said that was really the biggest part. Not a lot of change in the scheme. When you've got the talent they have and the speed they have, he just had to convince them how good they could be.
Del Rio was an excellent player during his years as a linebacker in the NFL. And the players have fed off that experience. A dump off for Obanaya, and it's going nowhere. Dumerville and Unrein hold him to no gain on the play, and both Del Rio and McCoy could be getting some phone calls for open head coaching jobs once this offseason hits.
And you look at those eyes of Jack Del Rio, it reminds me a lot of Mike Singletary looking across the line of scrimmage from him. Those eyes were just poking out of his face mask. Very intense.
Reggie Hodges will punt. Trendon Holiday standing at the 29-yard line with 13 and a half to play in the fourth quarter. Holiday, a muff. 6 fumbles this season. He's lost only 1 as Harris is there to come up with the loose ball. But this is an issue you get into the postseason. This will be unacceptable for John Fox and company. Look at Red Rocks, the amphitheater. Beautiful country here in Denver, Colorado. Handoff to Moreno. Up the middle off a stutter step. Hughes first man there. 4-yard gain for Noshawn Moreno.
And you got to wonder why Manning is even still in the game. Well, this one is pretty much salted away. Be a great time to give Brock Osweiler some snaps. He's only been in on a couple of kneel-down plays. But that is Peyton Manning. He's not going to give it up without a fight.
Season high in passing yards for Manning. Osweiler is the rookie out of Arizona State. 2nd-round pick. Manning, tip ball.
Charles Peanut Tillman for the 3rd time this season. An INT return for a touchdown. Chicago keeping hope alive. 28-6 over the Cards.
Back to the bird and the beard.
All right, JB and Shannon. We walk through the Denver facility and a lot of pictures of Shannon Sharp. Most of them in touchdown celebration mode. Flag thrown.
Jaquay Parker jumped in the neutral zone.
Neutral zone infraction, number 95 on the defense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
In the NFC, Chicago staying in the hunt. Entering action at 8-6. Minnesota's 9-6. Seattle 9-5 with a big one tonight against San Francisco at 10-3-1. A battle going on between the 49ers and the Packers for that first-round bye.
And Baltimore with a big lead on the Giants so far.
3rd and 2 now for Denver.
Hurry!
Manning operating out of the gun. Pats the ball and throws. Incomplete. Tammy tried to stab it with one hand. And the Broncos will punt at the 12:36 mark of the 4th. Eric Hagg in coverage for Cleveland. Just the second punt for Britton Colquitt. Comes in averaging 46.2 yards per punt. Of course, his dad, Craig, NFL punter for 8 years, won a couple of Super Bowls with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Brother Dustin, punter for Kansas City. Cribbs moves forward, and he can't handle it. Broncos are there on the recovery. Joshua Cribbs, who is usually one of the bright spots week in and week out for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, he's just trying to make a play here, Ian. This is 5 fumbles now, 3 that he's lost. And really, this was going to be a difficult catch at best. As you see, number 31 for the Broncos coming down, Omar Bolden. He was right there as the ball arrived. And a disaster for the Browns.
Lance Ball, backup running back on the recovery. So Denver has it 1st and 10 at the 19 of Cleveland. (24-6) lead for the Broncos. On the verge of improving to 12-3, the Browns were dropped to 5 and 10 with a loss. Manning points out the middle linebacker. It'll be a passing play. Manning looking for it all. Incomplete. Thomas gets the flag thrown on Buster Screen.
Yeah, if Screen doesn't grab him, first he had illegal contact at about 10 yards down the field, and then this ball was going to be a touchdown, but Screen made sure that Thomas couldn't get his hands on it.
Pass interference, number 22 on the defense. The foul occurred in the end zone. Therefore, by rule, the ball will be spotted at the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
Watch the illegal contact right there. And now the pass interference as he goes up over the top. That is left arm on the left arm of Demaryius Thomas.
Mitch Unrein is in there, defensive lineman, lined up at fullback, and Chris Clark, a 6th offensive lineman. Fake the handoff to Moreno. Manning throws, incomplete, over the head of Dreesen. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 1. Unrein does have a touchdown catch this season.
Defensive tackle, 6'4", 291, and a threat here on the goal line.
So Mitch Unrein, 2nd year out of Wyoming. Will he get an opportunity? 2nd and goal. Handoff, a blast by Hester for the touchdown. Jacob Hester adding to the Denver lead. It's 30-6 Broncos.
Yeah, Hester played 4 years with San Diego, scored only 1 touchdown. In 2 weeks, he has 2 touchdowns with his new team, the Denver Broncos. Watch number 40, just a little trap play right there. Good power by Hester, getting low and into the end zone. Yeah, he's going to keep that ball.
Well, they like his versatility, and Hester could be a factor when this Denver team hits the playoffs. So many permutations that McCoy can go with, mixing and matching personnel. This set it up. Cribbs with a muff punt. Recovery for Denver. They turn it into 7 with a touchdown by Hester. Coming up, time permitting, it's the Subway postgame show. JB and the rest of the gang, latest NFL scores and highlights. It's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Matt Prater will kick it off. Joshua Cribbs waiting for it. 6 yards deep in the end zone. And this one will go over his head, a touchback. This is Peyton's place. Thank you very much. 75,000 fans here at Sports Authority Field at Mile High. 31-6, Denver leading Cleveland. Colt McCoy in at quarterback, shoulder injury for Brandon Weeden. Flags are down. McCoy out of the pocket. And McCoy will veer out of bounds. Alberto Riveron will make the call. Von Miller may have jumped.
Offside, number 59, the defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Now the reason Brandon Whedon is out and Kurt McCoy is in is of that combination sack there between Elvis Dumervil and Von Miller. Nobody blocks Von Miller, and Dumervil comes from the other side. They land on the right shoulder, and Whedon's in having treatment and x-rays.
So 1st and 5, another flag down. This play never happens for McCoy.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 77 offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And it's John Greco on the left side of that Cleveland line. Early game headline: Cincinnati in the playoffs. Roethlisberger 2 picks for Pittsburgh. RG3 a win today over Philadelphia. Andrew Luck sets the NFL rookie record for yardage in a season through the air. And Adrian Peterson, 1,898 rushing yards. He goes for 86. Topping Dickerson will be tough. Hitting 2,000 is certainly doable. And Minnesota in the playoff chase. Colt McCoy, he hits Benjamin on a sideline pass. Just short of the 30-yard line. It's a 9-yard pickup.
Yeah, Benjamin didn't quite run his route deep enough. He ran a good, sharp comeback route on the outside. If he goes 2 yards deeper, he catches the ball and makes the first down.
Last year's starter, Colt McCoy, replaced by Brandon Whedon when the Browns took Whedon in the first round of this year's draft. Oldest player ever taken in the first round of the NFL draft. Whedon was 28 when he was selected. That ball bounces in front of Benjamin, incomplete. McCoy's first passes of the season coming here today.
Yeah, tough situation for anybody, but down 24-6 when he entered the game after the starter gets hurt on a sack. He is sacked on the very first play.
Browns will fall to 9-22 under Pat Shurmur in his second year as the head coach. And that'll be good enough for a first down out across the 30-yard line. GM Tom Heckert, his fate will be decided after the season ends. Same holds true for Pat Shurmur. Before the game, Jimmy Haslam, the new owner of the Cleveland Browns, former minority owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. McCoy steps up and bounces a ball in the direction of Benjamin Watson. Dumervil putting the pressure on Colt McCoy.
And McCoy just stepped up into the pocket in time as Joe Thomas was riding Elvis Dumervil around the outside of the pocket. But that hurried the throw, and that's why it was so far off target.
That's so many unanswered questions. Who's going to be making the decisions for the Cleveland Browns? Will Heckert get another opportunity? Do they bring in a new general manager to start making moves personnel-wise? And another throw that wasn't close. McCoy to Watson. Dumervil will be helped up. And it's 3rd and 10 now for the Browns.
And this is a real heavyweight battle between two all-pros, Joe Thomas and Elvis Dumervil. Standoff there, a win for Joe Thomas, but another incompletion for Colt McCoy.
17 rookies on this Browns roster, and the most starts by rookies this season in the NFL. McCoy on the dump off for Richardson, and not going to be nearly enough for a first down as Woodyard brings him down after the 5-yard pickup.
Well, the punt team wanted to come out there, but Pat Shurmur electing to go for it on 4th down, and this begs the question, why not? Down by 25, not going anywhere. Heck, why not go for it? So far this year, they 5 of 11 converting 4th downs.
Cleveland came in 3-0 against the AFC West, but that's wins over San Diego, Oakland, and Kansas City. Now taking on the class of the division. Denver's undefeated in the division this season. 4th and 5. Floated outside. Richardson does turn the corner and gets the first down. You know, we asked Trent Richardson about being a rookie and trying to be a leader as well, and He said, look, I do have to pick and choose my spots, but I'm not shy about stepping forward and speaking in front of the group and trying to lead by example.
He said that when he did that, really got the respect and the attention of the veterans because they know that he's bought into it.
Whedon is officially out with that shoulder injury. Good find. It's Benjamin downfield. Another rookie, Benjamin out of Miami. 4th-round draft pick. Good quickness. Trying to build on these young players. Gordon, Benjamin, Little, Richardson.
And Benjamin is the flyweight, as Pat Shermer called him. 170 pounds or so, but he can run.
New set of downs for Cleveland. McCoy will fire. It's Greg Little with Bronco defenders surrounding him, making a clean catch at the 25. And another first down for the Browns. 8:20 to go in this 4th quarter.
And coordinator Jack Del Rio deciding the last couple of times to just rush 3, drop 8. And McCoy finding some rhythm now.
Browns came in 29th in the NFL in first downs per game, 30th in 3rd down efficiency. Out of the pocket, McCoy throwing on the move. Incomplete. Contact with Benjamin Watson, the tight end. A collision. Penalty flag will work against Mike Adams, the former Brown.
Adams a little bit shaken up too on the play.
Pass interference, number 20 on the defense. The ball will be placed in the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Here's Adams. Here comes Watson. Here comes the ball. Ball thrown behind. You know, you just don't see the uncatchable ball calls anymore in the NFL. That ball was nowhere near catchable for Benjamin Watson.
Jack Del Rio upset. McCoy conferring with his head coach, Pat Shermer. And Mike Adams being tended to.
Yeah, you think about Tracy Porter being concussed earlier in the game. He's out. Broncos looking forward to the playoffs. They need corners are so valuable throughout the regular season, but in the playoffs even more so. The way teams are playing, spreading out their offenses. 3, 4, 5 wide receivers.
Adams this season taking the spot vacated by Brian Dawkins, who retired. And Adams has been a smart pro now in his 9th year. Was with San Francisco, with Cleveland, an undrafted free agent out of Delaware, and versatile guy.
That's really where you need the experience too in the secondary, is in the safety positions. Broncos are really lucky they've got a future Hall of Famer at cornerback in that man right there, Champ Bailey.
So Jim Leonard will step in. 1st and goal for Cleveland. 8:01 to go in the 4th. Out of the gun, McCoy looks to the end zone. Catch is made, extending out is Greg Little, and they'll give him the touchdown. 3rd touchdown of the season for the 2nd-year wideout, Greg Little, as McCoy has his first touchdown pass of the year.
Yeah, great job by Little. Our cameraman is right on the goal line, and you'll see how Little will reach over across the goal line right there, touchdown, and a heads-up call by the official right there on the spot to signal touchdown.
Cleveland will go for 2. Little breaks the plane. 6 catches, 58 yards, and a touchdown for Little. 2-point conversion try. It's going to be McCoy, and he'll come up short. Mitch Unrein protecting the goal line.
Just a little impatient by Colt McCoy, not letting that quarterback draw develop enough. He rushed it, didn't allow the Broncos to drop back, but he did throw this fine sideline pattern to Greg Little to get 6 points on the board for the Cleveland Browns.
And permitting, it's the Subway postgame show. JB and company, the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. 31-12, Denver in front. Little with a touchdown, capping a 10-play, 80-yard drive. 6-yard touchdown from McCoy. Whedon out with a shoulder injury. And Browns will look to put this one on the ground and hope for a recovery on an onside. Bolden is the deep man for Denver, standing at the 10. Now they're going to kick it off. Over the head of Bolden. Denver will have it at the 20-yard line. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS closes out the regular season. We'll have doubleheader action. Key games for you to determine seeding in the AFC playoff picture. It all starts at noon Eastern. JB and the NFL Today gang, presented by Southwest Airlines. Colt McCoy getting an opportunity today with the injury to Whedon. And Peyton Manning remains in there with 7:56 to go in the fourth. His team up 31-12. Moreno in the backfield for the Broncos. 54 yards rushing, 49 yards receiving for Moreno. Noshawn Moreno picks up 2.5 on the carry.
A great afternoon for Peyton Manning, but what's new? Completing over 75% of his passes today. 3 times in the end zone. Decker gets a couple. He's still in the ball game, which is a little bit puzzling. This game has really been put away a long time ago by not only the Broncos offense, but the way they play defense as well.
2nd and 8 movement. Broncos pointing for the Cleveland defensive lineman. Browns return the favor. Well, Peyton Manning disagreeing with what he just heard in the official huddle.
False start, number 65 offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That is penalty number 9 on John Fox's squad.
Now that movement by Jabal Sheard caused Ramirez to jump, and we've seen that called both ways today, where the defender will jump into the neutral zone. Offense reacts, and oftentimes that's called against the defense.
Each team with 9 penalties. This is now a 2nd and 13 for Denver. Second setback is Moreno under 7 minutes to play. Peyton Manning taking his time and using just about every second he can on that play clock. Moreno makes a cut, and not much there for Noshawn Moreno. He picks up a yard. It's a season high in yards for Peyton Manning, 339. You know, we asked him about the altitude. Said it took a little while for him to get adjusted, the training, the conditioning. He said about 3 weeks into training camp, he started to feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, but he enjoys the extra 15 yards off the tee that he gets.
Yeah, he did mention that.
You know, you do get a couple of extra yards throwing the ball as well.
He has said in the pregame offense that every now and again he'll call out some indie stuff because it's stuck in his brain, and guys will look at him and shake their head. Then Jacob Tamme will come over.
Start, number 74 offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Franklin called on the penalty, and he'll say, Tamme will whisper, "Hey, that's indie stuff. We're in Denver, man."
Yeah. You know, and jumping off sides, Orlando Franklin that time, actually it buys you time. It costs you yards, but on the game clock, you see it continue to run. So
good point.
I'm sure it's not part of the strategy. Orlando Franklin didn't want to jump off sides, but hey, coach, wasn't a bad idea. Look what's happening to the clock.
Now it's a 3rd and 17. They'll go with the running play to Hester. Jacob Hester lowers the helmet and drives across the 15-yard line, met by Daquel Jackson. 3.5, 4-yard gain there for Hester. Broncos will punt it with 5:25 and ticking left in the fourth. Josh Cribbs sets up at the 34-yard line. Britton Colquitt will boot it for Denver. And again, using play clock here. Colquitt, high punt. Cribbs, fair catch. And he brings it in at the 27-yard line of Cleveland. Well, this is what's going to be at stake next week. The race for home field advantage in the AFC. Houston can still get the #1 seed with a win at Indy. Denver would get it with a win against Kansas City and a Houston loss. And New England could get it with a win next week and a Houston and Denver loss. So the Texans could go from controlling the AFC and having home field advantage to the #3 seed.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
You and I had a chance to see them last week.
False start, number 73, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Joe Thomas called on the penalty, and there are some cracks in the armor for Houston. Week 3, Houston, Matt Schaub, 4 touchdowns. They beat Denver 31-25. Week 5 at New England, 251 rushing yards for the Patriots. They lose at 31-21. And then last week at Baltimore, Chris Harris picks off Flacco, takes it 98 yards, en route to the 34-17 win against division leaders. McCoy thrown down from behind as Mike Adams is back in there for Denver. 15-yard run for Colt McCoy.
And that may be the longest run of the afternoon for the Cleveland Browns.
It is. Got a 4:22 and counting left in this fourth quarter. Out of the gun, McCoy fires it on the out route to Benjamin. Travis Benjamin has got a first down for the Cleveland Browns, out of bounds with 4:14 remaining. 16 yards on the pass and catch.
And watching last week's game between Houston and Indianapolis, the Colts had a real chance there to hang with the Texans. They fumbled on the 1-yard line. Weldy Moore with a carry there, and then they had a block punt for a touchdown. So Indianapolis feels good about their chances against the Texans, especially playing at home next week.
In Denver territory now. Working out of the gun, McCoy, incomplete. AFC playoff picture, here we are. Houston 12-3. Denver will move to 12-3. New England a game behind at 11-4. Baltimore looking to move to 10-5. And there's Indianapolis, Cincinnati having already clinched wild card berths.
And how big was that win by San Francisco going into New England last week and beating the Patriots? They got a tough one tonight going up to Seattle to play the Red Hot Seahawks.
2nd and 10, McCoy, that's incomplete. Now, Dan, we have a close-knit group on the road. It's like our second family, and want to thank Marianne Franta, known on our crew as Mookie, videotape supervisor, had everybody over for a holiday party last night with her significant other, Tony. Great hosts. Mookie is actually a Cleveland native, but has lived in Denver for a long time. So she's got a lot going on emotionally.
She was conflicted a little bit last night.
Yeah, a little bit.
That didn't hamper her expertise in the kitchen. Excellent dinner. Thank you, Mookie.
Great stuff. Whole crew had a terrific time. Happy holidays to everybody. McCoy over the middle. It's incomplete. And it's 4th down. Benjamin Watson, the intended target for Cleveland. And there is the backup quarterback. You mentioned it earlier. Maybe a chance for Brock Osweiler to get in and not just take a couple of knees, throw a couple passes. Has not attempted a pass in the NFL. 1 year as a starter. A Montana native. 2nd-round pick out of Arizona State. He's 6'8", 240 pounds. He was going to go play basketball at Gonzaga and then made a choice. A sack for Dumerville. He's in double figures for sacks this season. This Denver team, what balance on both sides of the ball.
Well, and this time Dumerville lined up over Mitchell Schwartz, the rookie out of California. He switched sides with Vaughn Miller. Watch him come here. And Schwartz can't even grab him and keep him away from the quarterback. Elvis is about ready to leave the building.
So Denver takes over at the 45, and here is Osweiler. Moreno in the backfield. Willis, the motion man for Denver. Just under 4 minutes to play. Noshawn Moreno with a flag thrown. He gets hit just across the 40-yard line. Penalty marker on the far side of the field.
2 men in motion against the Broncos.
So illegal shift will be the call from Riberon.
Illegal shift. 2 players moving at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Final numbers for Peyton Manning. 30 of 43. 339 yards. 3 touchdowns and a pick.
And he'd been sacked a couple of times the last couple of games and hit a number of times last week against Baltimore. Offensive line kept him upright the entire day. 0 sacks on number 18.
Back it up just shy of midfield. Moreno again. And Noshawn Moreno will pick up 3 yards. Eric Hagg with a stop and a timeout called by Cleveland. Give Denver the victory. 12-3, dominating the AFC West. San Diego, Oakland, and Kansas City will all finish under 500. It was a whitewash in the AFC West this season. For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS. The game between the Browns and the Broncos. Ian Eagle along with Dan Fouts. Our score, Denver 31, Cleveland 12. 60 minutes will be seen immediately after the game, except on the West Coast, where it will be seen at its regularly scheduled time. 2nd and 12. It's Moreno. Noshawn Moreno goes down awkwardly. Dreesen and Willis, good blocks downfield.
Yeah, he really did go down awkwardly. He wanted to cut back to the inside and did not want to go out of bounds.
It's a 19-yard gain.
Wow, look at that right knee and that right ankle there. What a disaster that might have been with Willis McGahee already out.
McGahee on IR with a knee injury. Moreno 79 yards on the ground. We asked him about learning from veterans. Not only did he mention McGahee, but he mentioned Carell Buckhalter, the former Bronco. He said learned a lot from both of those guys. Subtle things, how to carry yourself on and off the field. Here's Ronnie Hillman. And Hillman drives inside the 25. Hit by Joe Hayden. That's a 5-yard pickup for the rookie Hillman. Cleveland has used its final timeout. 3:27 to go in the 4th. So the Browns will fall to 5-10 on the season. Don't forget, 60 Minutes is coming up here on CBS after our telecast, except on the West Coast, where it will be seen at its regularly scheduled time. Now, how about some votes for Executive of the Year in the NFL? John Elway, the architect of this roster, and obviously pulling off the biggest move of the offseason, getting Peyton Manning to sign on the dotted line.
There were a lot of suitors for Peyton Manning, and the Hall of Famer, John Elway, convinced him this was the right place to be, and boy, it did pay off for everybody involved.
Noshawn Moreno brought down. It'll be a loss of 2 on the play.
And in the Christmas spirit, the Broncos have 4 Wisemen. Elway for, which you just talked about, getting Peyton Manning. John Fox for putting it all together. How about Mike McCoy and Jack Del Rio? McCoy adjusting the offense, meshing it with Peyton Manning and the success he had, and then Jack Del Rio turning around the defense. Number 2 in the NFL against the run, and that's what all coaches always talk about. We've got to stop the run, and the Broncos have done that this season.
3rd and 7 now. Hillman in the backfield, down to 2:42 to play in the 4th. And Hillman tripped. Was trying to take it to the outside. Ronnie Hillman goes down. And it's 4th down. Only 1 game left. Chance to sweep the division. And Denver will be looking for its 11th straight win to end the regular season. Next week, they play host to the Kansas City Chiefs. Cleveland Browns will wrap up next week at Pittsburgh in a game that could have had playoff implications, but the Steelers falling to the Bengals earlier today, so Pittsburgh is out of the playoff race. We've hit the 2-minute warning. in Denver. Broncos in complete control. BS. 31-12, Denver in front. Matt Prater is on for a 41-yard field goal attempt. The punter Colquitt will hold it. Aaron Brewer, the snapper. Denver came in number 2 in the NFL in scoring, 29.2 points per game, and they've got 34 after the field goal by Prater with 1:55 left to play. Let me apologize before we even do this to those in Cleveland. This is not my idea.
Okay, it's not mine either, I guess.
Flashback.
Oh, no.
The Browns and the Broncos. John Elway, 98-yard touchdown drive. It took 5 minutes and 2 seconds. The pass to Mark Jackson ties the game, forces OT. They win it. And then, 87 AFC Championship. Ernest Biner stripped of the ball. The Broncos recovered, held on.
It was his idea to show that. That's who the idea was. It was Elway's idea.
All right, we'll go with that. Please, all your tweets and emails directed to Bob Mansbach from CBS Sports.
Mansbach. Bob, B-O-B. I have his address, too, if you want it.
We'll spare him.
Okay.
Matt Prater will kick it off. Now, this is a Denver team that made the playoffs last year at 8-8. Won a playoff game in a wild one against Pittsburgh and then got embarrassed by New England, and the indication that the Broncos were a playoff team, but they were so far from being a true Super Bowl team. Big changes made, obviously, at the quarterback position with Tim Tebow out and Peyton Manning in. Next Sunday, NFL on CBS doubleheader. We'll have action for you. Playoff seeding will be at stake in the AFC.
So it's 10 in a row now for the Broncos, and you go back to that San Diego game on a Monday night. Record was 2-3, down at halftime, looking at 2-4, and a tremendous comeback in that second half, and they have not looked back since then.
There's McCoy in for the injured Whedon, and McCoy is going down. Doomerville, first man there for Denver.
Yeah, it's time to pad your stats, and that's what Doomerville's doing. Couple of sacks today, has shared a couple. Watch him come around Joe Thomas here. The difference with Doomerville and Von Miller is their balance. Doomerville's only 5'11", so he can get underneath the long arms of Joe Thomas at 6'6", and use that leverage to get to the quarterback.
On a pass over the middle to Richardson. Picks up 4 yards on the play. Don't forget, 60 Minutes is coming up immediately following our broadcast, except on the West Coast, where it will be seen at its regularly scheduled time. Down to 1:04 left to play. Flag thrown. McCoy steps up. McCoy out of trouble. Colt McCoy slides just short of the 35-yard line.
Yeah, Doomerville jumped into the neutral zone there.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Offside, holding, number 66. Those penalties will offset. Replay third down.
Down to 50 seconds left. So many question marks for Cleveland heading into the final week and what those decisions are going to be. Joe Banner, the new CEO, said the decisions will come quickly. Yeah, they're not going to sit around and wait a couple of weeks. Clearly they want to get their plan in place and start executing it.
And if they are going to make a change, get their coach in place in a hurry, because there are quite a few teams that may be looking for new head men.
On third down, McCoy hit from behind as he released the football by Mike Adams.
Again, a totally unblocked rusher on the quarterback, and this time Mike Adams, good legal shot too. Did not go to the head. caused this ball to be incomplete.
And Richardson took a shot to the back of his legs that he just limped off for Cleveland. So the last thing they need is another issue with Trent Richardson, who's been dealing with that rib injury since week 6. McCoy is drilled. It's Woodyard. Sixth Denver sack of the day.
Well, watch Richardson here as Adams hits the quarterback. Really innocent bystander there, and it's a shot to that left leg. Hopefully it's not too serious.
Trent Richardson finishes the day, 9 carries, 53 yards, 3 catches for 15 yards. Victory formation for Denver. It's a 10-game winning streak for the Denver Broncos, and they are still alive for the #1 seed in the AFC. The Cleveland Browns fall to 5-10. Denver behind Peyton Manning and a ferocious defense, now 12-3 on the season. A family affair for Brandon Stokely. Our final score: Denver wins it 34-12 over the Browns. Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, followed by Blue Bloods, The Good Wife, and The Mentalist. For Dan Fouts, our entire CBS crew, I'm Ian Eagle. So long from Denver. Happy holidays, everybody. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 40.